Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ricky and today I'm going to talk to you about the Meike 35mm prime lens. I'm going to be comparing it to the Fujifilm prime lens, the 35mm. The only difference is that this one is a full manual lens, and that plays a big role in deciding what kind of lens you might be looking for. So right off the bat, comparing the two lenses, the Fujifilm glass and lens overall is better quality than this lens. This one ran me about $60 depending on where you buy it and if it's on sale or not. This one's obviously going to have better quality, better clarity, better all around. You even get some automatic features that go along with the camera. This lens will actually speak to the camera because it's made for that camera. This one, however, is just a full manual. You're not going to be getting any information for the camera from this lens. But that's not all bad. So right off the bat, I think that this is a pretty good lens to be introducing into your lens collection, especially if you're a new photographer or a hobbyist looking to expand his or her lens collection. The lens quality isn't up to par to what an official lens will run you or a more expensive lens. Obviously, this is for budget photographers, for photographers looking to just get into the hobby more. I wouldn't recommend this for somebody who's a pro. It's a little bit of like best of both worlds. It's decent quality, it's cheap, and it's a fun lens to shoot on. Granted, it is manual, which isn't something that you should be afraid of. I think all photographers should be striving to shoot with manual, especially with their lenses. This is going to be a really good entry point for beginner photographers, or if you're somebody who's a little bit afraid to switch off automatic, this is going to be a great lens for you. The thing about this lens is, I think for hobbyists especially, if you're not too picky about your lens quality or the quality of your images, this is going to be a really interesting lens to add to your collection. It's not the clearest image, it's not the sharpest, but it does add some artistic style to the lens, especially in the right lighting conditions. I'll throw up some images on screen in conditions where I thought the lens really shines and where I would use it most likely. In my opinion, I think this lens gives the image a really good vintage look. When I first got the lens, I was shooting with the aperture fully opened, and it was giving me some really weird lighting artifacting around the sides and on the subjects. But once you close down the aperture to about 2, you can get a lot from this lens. It's really nice, and it's actually become one of my favorite lenses. The drawback to this lens is there is no lens stabilization. The camera doesn't know what lens you use, so you have to go into it and tell it. When you're editing, you have to keep in mind what lens you used for that lens correction. But if you're not afraid to do any of that yourself and you know what you're doing, I think this is a pretty valid lens. Honestly, I find myself putting this lens on my camera a lot more than my actual 18 to 55 zoom lens. Not because I think that this is better, but because I think that in the situations that I'm usually shooting in, that stylized look is something that I'm looking for in the lens anyway. So what are my final thoughts on this lens? If you're a beginner, I highly recommend it. It's gonna run you very cheap. You're gonna have a lot of fun with this lens. It's gonna teach you a lot about what a not so perfect lens is, and when you actually move on to a slightly better lens, you're gonna really appreciate the upgrade. But you will also benefit from becoming a better photographer with this downgraded lens. You're gonna learn to get the most out of it. If not, maybe save up a little bit more and save up for a lens with clear glass. But if you're a hobbyist, I also recommend this lens. It's something interesting to be playing with. It's an interesting lens to use. And if you like that kind of style and like that kind of look on your photos, then go for it. So those were my thoughts on the lens. If you have this lens or even have used similar lenses on your Fujifilm or any camera similar to Fujifilm's range, please leave a comment and remember hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.